Welcome to another and final installment of Inspirations from the Sage, December 8th. And yes, I have a new cat tree here, and Jelly is enjoying his new spot. We'll see if it lasts. And I'm enjoying the off-gassing of the formaldehyde. Whew. They need to come with warnings. Okay, so yesterday, the sage, as well as my pounding headache, made it clear that, and I sort of knew it, but I didn't, made it clear that the underlying motivations for doing these, this I Ching challenge was ego-driven. And I sort of knew it, but I couldn't see clearly the reasons behind it. But I think I'll share it with you. And the sage did have one final hexagram that he wanted to share with this final closing. And I thought it was good. I thought, okay, it would be appropriate to end again on inner truth. And of course he did. But anyway, the hexagram that I got yesterday was 50. I can't remember the line number, but it was like so obvious it was for me. Let's hope Jelly doesn't knock down the screen. And 50, really the gene key hit this one home. And the line number that I got was speaking to the fact that this line counsels someone who is teaching the I Ching to people who, while they are intelligent enough to understand, they're not interested. Basically, that's what it said. And that I was pushing this on out there when people need to come to their own, come to this in their own way, or any teaching in their own way. And I was kind of pushing it. But the underlying motivation for doing this, first of all, challenging yourself to do something every day, that is an ego motivation. Because what if you don't feel like it? And then the ego, I mean, it's a great way for the ego to absolutely set you up for failure and guilt. Because yesterday I woke up with a massive headache and the guilt was just incredible. And, I could see ego written all over this. So no more challenges. If I feel like doing it, I'm going to do it. But I also kind of thought, oh, I'm going to be so smart sharing the I Ching with people. So, But the underlying shadowy behavior can be found in the 50 gene key 50. And it talks about corruption. And this gene key is all about social order and hierarchy and how we fit in. We live in a system of hierarchy. And if you want to kind of find your place, you got to find your place in the hierarchy in order to survive. And so there's this kind of fear of how do I fit into the community and in my social order. And this one is so strong in me, it's really tough. But the repressed version of this is called overloaded. Let me just look here. And it's people who, repress their fear of this hierarchy. That's a tough thing to say. Fear that they don't have a placement and they in the social order in their community. And here's what it says. Those who submit to hierarchy are those who fear it. And in such people, this fear creates repression. That would be me. These people are overwhelmed with the weight of the world and with responsibility for protecting those closest to them. I mean, that hits me like a ton of bricks. I have this like overwhelming sense of needing to do something. Weight of the world is on my shoulders, and you just feel like, okay, I have to share something. So I think that was really, I really thought, these are such great teachings. I feel an obligation to share it. share it with others, because, you know, this whole world is going to hell. Anyway, so I'm done with that. No more corruption in my thinking. I think my place in the community and the social fabric is going to be fine. I'll survive. So the final message from the sage today was we went back to hexagram 27, nourishment, or the gene key is selflessness, selfishness. And the final message that the sage wanted to share with you is about, it's again, inner truth being our nourishment. And it says, he's distinguishing between cosmic nourishment and spiritual food, which I think is just fascinating. So cosmic nourishment, that thing that feeds your chi, your life force, that awakens you, is always, 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 always going to come from your inner truth. And they talk about spiritual food, by contrast, consists of ancient wisdom, okay? Or going to spiritual teachers or reading all about ancient stuff and learning everything you can. That's spiritual food, but it isn't nourishment. It's kind of like eating potato chips or those rice cakes. They might fill you up, but they don't have any nourishment. So it is also these, running to different teachings and learning all about, obviously that's not bad. We need an understanding of some stuff, but, really digging in and relying. This message is for me too, relying on the I Ching, right? I've been told several times I rely too heavily on it instead of trusting my inner truth. But also relying on this spiritual food, videos, other teachers, readings, books, etc. It also enhances the ego, because it says the ego is easily impressed by anything that has been pronounced as a fundamental truth. And these fundamental truths have often, these ancient truths have been touted as absolute truths, when actually they're only half truths. So anyway, the message here is just trust your inner truth, turn within, get your cosmic nourishment from there. Go ahead and eat the rice cakes, but know that they're only half of your nourishment, or less than half of your nourishment, that we need to turn within and check with your inner truth about all these teachings. Okay, see if it fills you up, see if it adds to your life force. And don't let your mind corrupt your thinking into thinking that you need to push ancient wisdom and these truths on other people. There is no hierarchy in the cosmos, so we should have no worry about having hierarchy in our social earth life, if that makes sense. Thanks for bearing with me these few videos, and I think I'm just going to do videos that I want to talk about. I might do a couple more today, who knows? Okay, thanks, bye.